This is Robbie Alcini, Mr. Real Nonstop Talent, Reggaeton Directo, La Base Secreta. And today, I have the privilege, I have the honor. It's something I've always wanted to do because I've been doing singers, I've been doing actors, I've been doing people that are in the government, but I've always wanted to be a part of the video game community because I've been a gamer since I was 4 years old. How do I remember that? I don't know. I just know I've been a gamer since I was 4 years old. So I got for you people the most loved member of the Xbox community and all the video game community, because he's not just an Xbox player. For all you frauds that be like, oh, he's always fronting on Xbox. No, this guy plays them all. Directly from the IronLords Podcast, lordsofgaming.net. The man that has the frauds on alert, and the man that gave Phil Spencer a name that has to be known around the world, which we'll get to later. That's something we'll tell you later. Directly from the IronLords Podcast on YouTube, Lord King David.
What's up, buddy?
So it's a pleasure to have you. My intro is not as good as Cognito, but I tried.
Thank you so much. Yo, Cognito, that comes from us in our wrestling days. Like, you know, we would play all these wrestling games from N64 to PlayStation. Yeah, No Mercy, SmackDown, all that stuff. So that comes from that. And then we will watch wrestling. So, you know, and in boxing intros. So I guess he's channeling his inner Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
So he does a hell of a job. That's my cousin. So I love him.
Every time he introduces somebody new to the show, you're waiting for that introducing, and you're like, here we go. We're getting ready for the show. So nothing keep for the very few people that don't know you, for the people that follow me, for the actors and the singers and the Korean actors and singers. What got you into video games, and what moment of time did you realize that your knowledge of playing video games so long would help you as well as your partners to create what you have created right now and being so successful?
Okay, that's a lot there. Okay, so early on, let me see. I grew up in the South Bronx. Okay, my grandmother's Puerto Rican, and you know, my grandfather's West Indian, so you know, Caribbean, yeah. And in those circumstances, growing up in the Bronx, you need an escape. Because I grew up in the South Bronx where when we had gangs, back when we had gangs in the street, you know, leather jackets walking around in the gangs. I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, you know, so it's really, really different. You know, I didn't see my first Dominican person in the States in my school until I was in middle school. All right. So
you're telling me that the area that you were in, it was just like one
Boricua and black people, you know. So you know, this is just, you know, Negro, Boricua. That's it. That's all we had, you know. And we grew up like that, you know. So that's how we grew up. So, but out there, you had Pac-Man, you had coin ops, you know, and you would go outside. You have your quarters. You go to get your penny candies and stuff. And we having a good time playing video games, playing Asteroids. So Atari 2600, actually, no, the first console that I ever played was Pong. Right. So yeah, we had a black and white television and used to go into the back, put it on the RF in the back, turn it to channel 3, and you play with it until the screen, you can see it. You saw the two. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we was playing Pong, had a little paddle, and we played that. And that was fun or whatever. Then, but when we go to the arcade, you know, we seen Asteroids, we seen Time Pilot, we see games like that, and we're like, oh my God, I can't wait for that stuff to come to the house. Yep. And Atari 2600 came out, ColecoVision came out, and Intellivision came out. And you know, I'm in the streets, I'm running around. So my mother I didn't even know we was on welfare. Let me tell you something. I tell somebody a story about food stamps, and they was like, oh, you was on the government too. I was like, no, I didn't even know.
I imagine she moved you, she raised you guys in a certain manner, in a certain way that if you weren't told that this is the way that things were going, you were going to know, because it's not like a lot of people that you know that they live in because of the way that they act and the way that they go around with life.
Yes. So I didn't know. I honestly swear to God, I did not know. I was just like, oh, I didn't know about food stamps. I didn't know that meant we was on welfare. I really didn't know until later on in life, which is really crazy. And it was just like a revelation and all this stuff. I was like, yo, that do make sense. But so I had in television, I had Atari 2600, I had ColecoVision, and I had these consoles and I'm playing around with them. I have Vectrex. And that's when I knew, because I was trying to escape what was going on in the street. I didn't like what was going on out there. So I stay upstairs, I play my games. And then when it really hit was when I saw the commercial for the NES. And I was like, oh, and he had to rob the robot and the gyroscope, and he's doing this stuff and had the gun for Duck Hunt. Yep. So I was like, oh, I got to get this money. So I will pack bags to get money. Packing bags in the supermarket, packing bags. And I got it. I got the money. I went and I picked it up. I set it up. I used Rob one time. What? One time, I swear. Yes, it was too much. It was a gimmick. That's when you don't know about gimmicks. I thought he helped me with the game. No, he take too long. Get out of here.
Was that for show?
Yeah, that's all he was. He was just a nice toy. He stayed in the box. But Nintendo started that, and I had a Sega Master System as well, but never really played it too much because I always thought the Nintendo games was better.
Everybody for that time.
It was out of control. So then I go down one day to the Wiz that's on 3rd Avenue. And, I was going in and out of video games at that time, not too heavy. And I walk inside the Wiz and I heard "Rise from Your Grave." And I look up and I said, what the hell is that? And it was Altered Beast on the Sega Genesis 16-bit machine. My mouth wide open. And I said, I gotta have that. That's when
harder.
It was full blown. It was full blown from there. That's when, I'm playing my games. I'm playing with my boy, Mr. Ha, my boy, Jeff. And that's when I met Cognito. Cognito is like family. I mean, I'm talking about family. I really don't think you're born to your family, because those people that you're born to, sometimes you don't even like them.
No, or you don't even speak to them. I got a lot of
exactly,
people, right? I don't even know who they are. They probably pass by me in the street, and then my mom be like, yo, that's your cousin. I'm like, I had no idea.
For real? All right. But I picked Cog. When I met him, automatically from the minute that I met him, this is my mano, this is my brother, he's family. And there has been like that since. We've been playing video games. Every console that has ever come out, if I didn't have it, I made sure that I got it. If I didn't have it at that time, I made sure that I got it. Like Neo Geo, I had Neo Geo with $250 cartridges. Every month I was buying a new game that came out. Beautiful console. When the CDs came out, I was so happy because the CDs was $50.
It was insane. I remember I bought Super Mario RPG.
Yes.
It came out to almost $100, and I'm like, what the heck am I buying?
$89.99.
It made no sense.
Yep, but that's when the cartridge was, 64 megs, and the bigger the cartridge, the more we spend. So, people don't understand. If we did inflation, $70 now, from back then, $70 back then to now would probably be like $150 compared, so people spending $70 now for a cartridge or a CD. They got to understand, if you're spending that money back then, the inflation will change the prices really ridiculously. But I all the way through. So as we get older, we start drifting apart, but we had Xbox Live. So Xbox Live is the greatest thing to ever come out for us gamers, because we had other stuff like X-Band and stuff like that, but Xbox Live married the whole audio and visual, and the latency was lower than it was before. And we were playing and we were talking, and we didn't have to make it to, Cog's house every Saturday, because we'll be in his house every Saturday night. 16 adult men, adolescents. I don't know how his mother took us in that house, but I understood she probably said, I would rather them here than that chaos that's in the street.
The crazy thing is that what you're talking about, I used to do it too with my cousin. We would take out Saturdays and Sundays, we would either be at my house or his house. We were like 8 people, but that was way back in the day. So we would take the weekends to go play some GoldenEye, play some Perfect Dark.
Yes.
And Halo came out, and right there we started doing the the LAN cable parties.
So you had a bunch of TVs as well, huh?
I told him, you bring your TV from your house. I don't care how much it weighs, because I don't have enough money for another one.
Yo, so listen, we chipped in for our TVs, right? We chipped in for 2 TVs, and this is when COG moved it to the upper part of the house, and we chipped in for more televisions, and everybody had their Xboxes, and everybody brought their controllers, and we would stay there 24 hours. You don't know how many girlfriends I broke up with because they would think I'm outside all night long cheating. I'm not. I'm playing Halo. I don't care. We play wrestling. We watch karate movies. Go to the Chinese restaurant, but we had so much fun doing that stuff. And then we started drifting apart because, guys are getting older, getting girlfriends, getting jobs,
families,
going to school, stuff like that. And Xbox Live hit, and Xbox Live brought everybody right back in. So now we didn't have to wait only to Saturday. We could play Xbox Live all the time. Even though I had PlayStation all the way through, I noticed that Xbox Live brought everybody closer. It connected me to people all across the world. Like I met one of my best friends off Xbox Live, Hot Monkey Lovin'. He is one of my dearest friends, and I met him off of Xbox Live. Like I saw him running through the tower one day. I was playing Destiny 2, a Destiny 1, and I saw his name. It said Hot Monkey Lovin'. I said, oh my God, I'm gonna add him because I like his name. And I added him because I liked his name, and he joined in the party. And I mean, from that moment, that's been my motto, like my friend all the way through. So, he's a really good dude, and Xbox Live has, changed how we do things. Now, how we get to the podcast, I saw my cousin, he went to E3, and I'm looking at, how they show like on E3, when you're watching the Microsoft event.
Yeah.
And I saw like a fan fest something. I saw my cousin on my Xbox talking to like Major Nelson or whoever. I don't know. I think he was talking to Aaron Greenberg or something. I don't know who he was talking to. I called him on the phone. I said, you're never going there by yourself again.
You better take.
I'm going. He went to California. And, I'm running my companies, but I never take off. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take off. I'm going to take off that week. I'm going to go spend time with my cousin. We're going to go bond so we can get our bond back, and went out there, and it was the most fun that we had. The first time we went, that was more just of a vacation type of fan fest thing. The next time we went, it was for podcast stuff because he started doing the podcast, but he wasn't with me and Sovereign at the time. Oh, kitty, gato.
first time he ever appears. He came for you. He came for you. He never appears.
Heard my voice. ¿Cómo está? So he started the podcast, and we guest on me and Sovereign guests at separate times, and we wind up being permanent members there along with Attic. And it just took from that point. We just have a different type of chemistry when it comes to, just having conversations. We play off of each other. We know each other's tendencies so well that when he's going to speak, I know what he's going to say. He kind of knows what I'm going to say, and they know how to egg me on. I know how to egg him on. I know how to egg Attic on. And separately, I had met Attic before the podcast because me and him was playing Destiny again together, and we build a bond that way. And
Destiny has been particularly the union for you for a lot of people.
Yes, exactly. It's a lot of people I've met through Destiny. I was just talking to Dealer right now. They was teasing me that I'm still playing Destiny. They said I missed out on a lot of games this decade.
It's not your fault it lasts that long,
I know, right?
A 1 year or 2 year game, but come on, it's not your fault.
It's not my fault. It's that good. It's that good. But yeah, that's how we got to the podcast. And the late great Dizzy, we started to look into doing the website, and Dizzy had a website that he had up going, And that guy was so humble, so brave, so strong. Um, it's incredible. He said, I will let you have the infrastructure to it. We could just, put your name on top of the infrastructure and we can work that way. And I'm like, oh my God,
That's
what man does that? Like
nobody.
nobody. Absolutely an amazing human soul. Absolutely an amazing human soul. He's no longer with us. That's my brother to the end. I Dizzy, an incredible dude. But that's how we got lordsofgaming.net, because we put lordsofgaming.net and we got a ton of writers doing stuff, and it just it grew from there. It's when every time I go to the site and I look at the site, I'm just so amazed that I'm a part of it. Like I'm a small part of it, because there's other guys, like we have like Josh, Cog, and I'd be remiss if I just start naming names and missing people. So I won't say it. I won't do that. But these guys work so hard on the infrastructure of the site. It's an amazing piece of work for me in my head, because I never envisioned anything like that. So if dudes really like the podcast, you would really love the website, because it's absolutely insane, man.
So you had like spoke a little bit about something that you were saying. For those that don't know, you're also a businessman. So I'd like to know, being a businessman, but as a businessman, being African American and Latino, has it been easy or has it been hard for you to be able to deliver what you're doing? Because we see on social media and we see on TV and movies that if you are colored and Latin, it's harder to break into the business. How has it been for you?
Okay, well, in my area, I think being mixed is an advantage, because a lot of the workers that work for me are from low economic income. People that normally the other people won't look at, or won't give the opportunity to, or won't talk to, or won't have that moment to see the special in these individuals, or to understand that these people come from your circumstance, and to give them a shot. So what I did was I set up a independent contractor structure. And in that structure, I set up a way for them to make sure that they have medical, make sure that they have insurance and stuff like that, as well as, get their paychecks. And in that structure, they're responsible for how they pay their taxes. So they get their money straight out, and how they actually work. And then, I try to coach them through how to do certain things, how to pay bills or whatever. The biggest thing was when COVID hit, I lost 2 companies automatically, instantly. And my biggest thing was, how can I facilitate work for these workers that was working with me for so long? I had private security and I had a hotels delivery. Both companies completely dead because they was intertwined with each other. The hotel industry absolutely collapsed. What people don't know, hotels have a bunch of little subsidiaries that you may not know, like the Marriott may have this little hotel or that little hotel. So when this hotel, the big hotel, is overbooked, they'll send you to one of their little subsidiaries that they have, that they actually own, and they can just have you rest there. So this is what they do when they're overbooked, and they have a bunch of them throughout the city. So if you're tied to the main hotel, then 9 times out of 10, you can actually get work at these little hotels. So that's what I was able to do. I had 13% of the Lower East Side and of distribution of print media. Then I also had private security in that same 13%. So if anybody came to the city, I had my workers, the shadow guard and stuff like that, and door watch, or actually present guard, in full view type of things. And I've met a lot of entertainers, a lot of singers, a lot of athletes, family members and stuff like that needs to be protected. So that stuff actually crumbled. So those 8 to 10 people that I did have working, I had to make sure that I found work for them. And then, that actually happened. And I feel actually pretty good. So I'm in the middle right now of trying to create and grow 2 or more companies right now organically. And I'm absolutely dabbling in cryptocurrency, trying to wrap my brain around how that infrastructure is working and how I can place my money in different pots. Because I've noticed during this whole pandemic, if you didn't have your hands in digital money, then you
In
were going to
trouble.
lose. Yeah, because they made sure that physical money was probably a detriment, especially with this disease.
Yeah,
This,
they don't want you to exchange stuff physically.
exactly. So that's when the digital currency actually skyrocketed. So physical cash was actually a detriment, and they was actually probably trying to cut that, So that's where I'm at with that. So
Hopefully everything gets better. Like
yeah.
you said, well, when I was a little bit different when Hurricane Maria hit us. I had lost my work in Telemundo because when Hurricane Maria came, like Puerto Rico's infrastructure is so weak, it knocked down literally everything on telecommunications. So
Oh
the
my God.
only people that were still working were the people that were in like Telenoticia and stuff that had to do with the news. But us,
Right.
the people that are in their entertainment business, well, we were all laid off. So right there, I got laid off. So I decided to do what I'm doing now with La Promo Inc. online. Then COVID hit, and just like you said, I do other stuff apart that doesn't do nothing with this. I actually sing. Since
Okay.
COVID to here, well, us musicians have gone skyrocket down because
Live
until
venues. Yeah.
yeah, and the live venues are starting to open up little by little, but
Yes.
it's only for those big names. If you're a smaller or
Yep.
mid-tier name, you gotta sit down and wait. So
Yep.
I feel what the pain you're feeling right now. This guy, he never appears. he appears today. I don't know. He's onto
It's
something.
the best right now. I'm having my best life right now.
Like what the hell is he doing here? So this business, when did you start it, and why did you like started to look into what was happening in the world and decided, yo, this is my way of contributing to the world? Or was it something that you already had in mind beforehand?
Okay. It's very simple. My wife had got pregnant, and I was up watching, go back even further. I was working for the Animal Institute of Albert Einstein, Albert Stein medicine, hospital medicine. And I got a veterinary certificate in that from working with them. They send you to school. So in there, I was going to go get my degree and all that other stuff. And I was on my way doing that. Well, my wife got pregnant, and I'm watching a documentary up late at night about how the women can kill the kids. Like, yeah, they just like they snap, but they it's not their fault.
It's like some
Scared
secretions in the brain or something like that.
something went wrong, something goes wrong, and they snap and they actually become volatile to the kids. It's the same way in our body. Like what how it was explained, like how as you get to certain ages, sometimes your body can actually have a chemical reaction against itself and start harming itself.
That's
Well,
true.
then the baby has the chemical reaction because the baby comes from the mother. The mother has a chemical reaction against the baby, and boom, they actually strangle a baby, kill a baby, smother a baby, whatever. Freaked me out so much. I said, no, 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 no. You go to work. When the baby comes out,
I'll
I'll
take
take care of the
care.
baby. I said, bye.
You're like, I,
And
I don't want to be on the news.
yeah, for real. So I quit my job.
Wow.
And she said, "Oh, what are you gonna do for money?" I said, "I don't know."
Yo lo invento.
I said, "I don't know." I said, God will take care of me. I
Mm.
really have absolutely no idea, but I know I can't. I won't ever be able to be at work and think straight. So I started working at night and take care of the baby during the day and working at night. And as I was working at night, I started seeing things like I've always been involved with newspaper in some form or fashion as a young kid. And then I was like, how did they get that little depot? How did they do this? How did they get this? How did they get this? And then I saw these guys doing routes, and a lot of times you can see dudes doing Pepsi routes, doing soda routes, doing beer routes, doing cigarette routes, whatever. But how do they get that? How does the company get that route? Well, those routes go up for bid. And when they go up for bid, you can buy them. So my first route went up for bid and I saw it and I was privy to see it. Excuse me. And it was like $5,000. I didn't have $5,000 at the time. I borrowed the $5,000 and I got a percentage of the route every month. Every month you get a percentage of what the route pays. So over a period of time, I made all that money back. And then I was able to purchase another route and another route. And for a while, I was working 3-4 routes myself at night and, making the money. And then I was able to hire a worker to split the work. And then it just grew from there. Grab more routes as they come up. I'll overbid to win the route because I know I had the workers for the route to pay them. So I knew I was going to guarantee that a route would come up, and I know that the route pays you 45% of the route. Yeah, good. I'll overpay for the route, get the route, and that way I can pay somebody 2% of the route, and I can take that money and distribute it in that way. So very early on, I've always had a business mind in how to allocate money and how to, make funds. And my whole thing was building something to help other people. It's always been that way, like if I can eat, and because I'm a selfish person.
Yeah.
So I'm selfish with my food, selfish with everything. But if you have as much money as I have, or you can go in the restaurant and eat just like me, I don't have to worry about that. So I got to help you get the money so I don't have to share my food. All right.
It makes perfect sense. It's like when one go to the store in Puerto Rico, they're like, vamos a hacer el caballo. You put this, you put that. But if you compare it yourself, then I'm good.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can embolden somebody, you can help them grow. They won't ever forget that. Maybe some people sometimes, and during this business, a lot of people have taken it for granted. It's okay. But I know what I did, and I understand that for each his own. Later on, they come back. So many people have come back and told me, "Oh, you changed my life in this manner," or "You taught me good work ethic in this manner." Oh, so thank you so much. I do appreciate that, and that's what I hang my hat on. I hang my hat on anybody that I was able to help at any period of time to get out of whatever circumstance it was or is, and to do for whoever or however or for themselves. So. That's how that is.
Amen. That's a nice story, because I've heard you in the ILP, dabble into the business, but now that I know what it is, man, it's like what you said, you make a difference in this world. And I always say that the number one reason that we're here is to make a difference and to learn something every day. If you wasted a day without learning something or helping somebody, you just wasted your life.
Oh yes. My wife brought me a plaque. It says fixer of everything. Every time I look at something, she's like, you can fix it, man.
I got it. So talking about fixing, we all know you as the king of the statue. So I'd like to know, when did your love for statues commence? What was your first statue? And why did you keep collecting? Because everybody's got the little stuff that they collect. I collect basketball jerseys. I got too many jerseys to even imply. But basketball jerseys, if you know a guy that knows another guy, it's not that much. But I know those statues you got, they cost a couple of dollars, because I got a couple of statues here. I got small statues like this, $60, $70. Your babies don't cost that much.
No, I'm gonna show you my first statue right now. I'm trying to bring up the picture. It's if you can see it.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Yes, you see that apple?
Yeah.
That's the scale of it. Okay, so the apple's the size of my fist, and that's the scale of that statue. So my wife and I is driving, downtown, and we working or whatever. And I drive past Forbidden Planets. Now, before I used to be a collector of little things, how you say video game statues. Those aren't statues. A lot of dudes be like, oh, I got a video game statue. No, those are PVC. Those are plastic vinyl collectibles. Exactly. Right. So I learned my difference when I went to the store. So I go and it's Forbidden Planets, and we drive past, and I saw it. I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. I'm an Incredible Hulk fan. I ran inside. I said, yo, how much is that statue? That guy told me $600. I said, oh, hell no. Like, I'm not paying no $600 for no statue. So he was like, yeah, whatever.
Look at you now.
Went home, came back the next day. I said, we can't do a deal? No, $600. He literally gave me that statue that's in the window, gave him the money, took the statue out, boxed it up, gave it to me, got it back home. I'm living in a condo at this period of time, right? So got this big giant statue in my room. And that's when the fever hit. So I'll be up on eBay. I'm up on eBay.
That's where everybody starts.
Oh boy. And I'm checking. I put a bid in for an Apocalypse statue. From X-Men Apocalypse, the villain.
Yeah.
And I put $300. I went to sleep. Boom. I woke up. I won. I said, oh my God, I didn't think I was going to win. The statue was $600. Right. So, okay. Gave the $300. They shipped it. Oh my God. He's just as big as a Hulk. Now I got these 2 gigantic statues in this house.
In a small place.
We got to move. That's exactly what I said. We got to move. So, we were going to get a larger condo, and I was like, nah, I want a house. So we wind up finding this house, and the bid was low. It was in accordance. My broker worked me through it, and we got the house. So got in here, just started buying little by little, and I got 3 big rooms. So y'all only see this room. You're gonna see the next room that I got upstairs, and then the other room, my red room. I showed some video of that in my Dolph Mall video that's on the website. Yep. Absolutely nuts. And I just started going on and on and on. And before I knew it, I'm just like, oh my God. The statue I paid the most money for was $4,500 for my Hulk Buster.
That was not too long ago, right?
Yeah, it was not too long ago. I did an unboxing on DCX, my other podcast that I do on Friday nights. We rebranded our name to Legion of Doom. And when I got with those guys, that statue community, it was insane. It's like you've met your lost tribe or something. You met people that look like you, like, oh my God,
understand you.
You think like me. Everything is incredible. I read a ton of comic books. Do I have it? Oh, they're over there. And I am really into comic books and the video game lore and the superhero lore and stuff like that. So that stuff really moves me because, like I said, growing up in South Bronx, all I would do was read comic books and play video games. So it kind of made its full circle as I got older. So that's how I got into that.
The good thing about that is reading the comic books and doing these things, it made you who you are right now. Because when I was a kid, I actually had X-Men episode 1, the old road one, and I here in Puerto Rico at the gas station they used to sell like these comic books inside like a foil wrap.
Right.
So I bought it, but they were tricky because they didn't show like the front of the comic book; they only showed the back, so you didn't know what you were buying. So I went and I bought it. It cost me like $2. And when I opened it, I'm like, oh my God, I got X-Men number 1. I'm like, what?
What?
Unfortunately, Hurricane George, I was living in a wooden house, destroyed the comic book. So I lost all my collections. I had a whole bunch. I had X-Men, I had Sonic, I had everything, the old ones, and I lost everything. So once again, there's no evidence right now because of what happened. But thanks to that stuff, it made me be who I am like right now, like you. Because when I was growing up, my friends and all that, only thing they were doing was like going to WC and hanging out and
Yeah.
drinking and smoking and and they were like, yo, what are you gonna do? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna stay home, watch some series, play a video game, read a comic book. And they were like, oh well, that's the way you want to waste your life. But thanks to the comic books and the video games and all that, I took in a route in my life that I know people that were young with me. I know a couple people that have unfortunately they've been shot,
Yeah.
dead because they decided to take another route in life because the easy money. And and then I look back and I'm like, yo, you guys call me the nerd, but I worked in Telemundo. I was able to do a bunch of stuff.
Yes. That thing changed the comic books and the video games. I used to get teased very early on for that stuff. But I look at it now and I said, man, looking at how Captain America handled himself, looking at how like Black Panther handled himself, looking at how smart and rich Tony Stark was, or how much courage Spider-Man had, or how intelligent Batman was, or how noble Superman was, or how strong of a woman Wonder Woman was. It made me view women in a different aspect. Made me aspire to be as strong as this individual or as noble as this person. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't have my pitfalls. Everybody has pitfalls. Everybody's human.
Nobody's perfect, like they say.
Exactly. But you also beg for forgiveness, talk to God, try to cleanse your heart, try to ground yourself, bring you back to humility, so you can respect. But everything like you see here, it's all this stuff represents uh hard work and a focus on just trying to be better. And I put my family first. Like I put them first. All this is just after the fact. This is not first. So if my kids had to eat, my kids eat. Whatever's left over, everything is done. Oh, daddy can buy a little statue. Good. Then I can buy a little statue. But if everything is taken care of, everybody is good, everybody's done, then daddy will look after whatever daddy wants to get after. But everybody else first. So and then daddy come last. That's how it goes.
That's nice, and I wish that a lot of more people would have that thought because I know a lot of kids. I have a lot of friends that me myself that parents were like, well, he can wait. Well, there's a piece of bread in the refrigerator. He can eat that. It doesn't matter. If he got something to eat. He's got something to eat, and they don't like take into account that once you have kids and once you have a family, you go on to the second plane. You're like
Yeah.
first, and then goes you. And to hear what you're saying, it reminds me of the truth of the reality that we live in a world where a lot of people they have kids to go live off of the government, to have an attachment to their boys. Like, oh, you can't leave me because I got your kids, and they lose the mentality and the way of thought that you brought them here for a reason.
Yep. See, I grew up in a single family, single parent household. So my father wasn't there. So I understand the loss of dad. You understand? I didn't know about that empty void. So I always wanted to. It's a small-minded thought in the beginning because you start from a bad premise to try to be greater than or to surpass because you don't know the circumstance of the individual at that moment. So it started from a false premise, but it actually gained clarity after I got a chance to meet him and have conversations with him to understand his circumstance at that period of time. So that formed me to be a better father than what I was. Not a better father than him, but a better father that I was aiming to be, because it was a little misguided in the beginning because I was trying to surpass a person that I didn't understand his circumstance. And my mother, I saw her diligence. We never went without food, light, or shelter, clothing, everything. She broke her butt, to make sure that those things were adequately met. So I, in turn, felt that no job was too low for me, for me to do to provide those things, so like I never turn my nose up to work to make sure that I have to keep the lights on, the food in their belly, a shelter on, and clothes on their back, so those individuals taught me those things that I took forward going into my life. So I understand from loss, and I understood that I didn't want my kids growing up in my circumstance. I viewed the projects as like a death sentence, a jail, and I didn't want them to grow up in that environment. Yeah.
And this it's lucky that you had that mentality, because there's this old saying which I've always been against, and the saying is, let me try to translate it for everybody who's watching us that doesn't speak Spanish. It's you have to go through stuff to understand. I've always been against that. I've always been like, if this guy that I'm seeing, he's going through a problem, and this is the way it's gonna end. I already saw how it's gonna end. So why am I gonna put myself in their circumstances when somebody else already did it, and you can learn from them?
Yep.
Why?
Yep. But some people got to feel the fire to be hot before they understand. Don't touch the stove. Some people can see it to know, oh man, that's hot. But some people actually got to feel. So very early on, you learn this thing. You learn if you're a feeler or a seer.
That's true.
I'm a seer. I can see something happening. I do not have to know that bullets hurt in order not to get shot. I can see it and I can understand, no, I don't want no parts of that. So yeah, I understand.
Yeah. I live the same way. I'm like, okay, you did this, you crashed because you were going too fast on that curve. Okay, I'm gonna go slow on that curve. I'm not gonna destroy whatever little bit I got to get hurt and injured and then be on foot just because I wanted to be like him. Everybody's got to be their own. So I've realized, because I follow you on Twitter and all that, and I realized that you are a knowledgeable man in boxing and in contact sports. So
I used to box.
There you go. I knew it. I was like, I got a cousin. My cousin's son, he's a boxer. Then everything that you say is the same thing he told me when he's practicing. I'm like, either King David was a boxer, he had somebody that was in boxing, or had to do something.
Like my wife wants me to write a book, because my life is so crazy.
Diverse.
It was a period of time when Pernell Whitaker beat Julio Cesar Chavez. After the fight, I was at his house. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So my grandmother's last name is Figueroa, right?
Yo. So's mine.
Okay.
That's insane.
Okay. So if you look into Tito Trinidad's family lineage, it's a Figueroa.
That is true.
Okay. So when he comes up to New York, we will all gather around and go meet him at whatever hotel and stuff like that. But that's not where my boxing started. My boxing started as a kid. I'm tall for my age, tall, skinny, and I'm 10 years old, but I look like I'm 15. So I get picked on by the 15-year-olds. All right. So my mother's sick and tired of me running home or coming home beat up. And one day, I'm at Maria Lopez projects, and I see a Ferrari pull in. And I saw one of the sharpest dresses I've ever seen in my life. He got out, he had his shades on, some beautiful shades. I don't even know. I think there was probably Caselli's at the time, probably like these, but the better ones, the new ones, the old ones, the
retro ones.
Yeah, the 18 karat gold here, bang, and the 18 karat gold bing in the middle. And, he got out and he said, yo, shorty, do me a favor, watch my car.
And you're like, yes, sir.
I'm like, okay, nobody gonna touch his car. Stand in front of his car. Nobody's gonna touch his car. It was Hector Camacho.
Oh my God, God rest his soul.
Rest his soul. So he's talking to his girlfriend and, Maria Lopez, And then he gets in his Ferrari. I mean, yeah, it's the Ferrari. And he takes he says, he gives me $50 bill. Thank you for watching my car. Nobody touched it. And he says, meet me at the boxing gym if you want some more money. Fort Apache on 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. He takes off the hill, goes up there. I run after this car. I'm out of breath. I'm jogging. I get to the boxing gym, breathing out of breath. He's already there. He's already changed his clothes. He's already in his boxing shorts. Got his shoes already tied up, and he was hitting the speed bag. I've never seen nobody move like that in my life, like in the flesh, like. And I'm like, oh my God, hands like fire, like literal fire, like. And the way he moved, the way he commanded the circle, the way his shoulders, every ounce of that man screamed perfection. I gave my $50 right there. Boom. Here's my $50. This is the $50 he gave me. I'm paying for my membership.
Sign me up.
He paid for my another on top of that. He paid for another on top of that. And I went there for a long time there. And my trainer was Bootsy. So when my money ran out, I didn't have money, but I would sweep the gym. I would clean up just to pay for my membership. But I've met a lot of people. I used to be really good friends with Mitch Green. Before Mike Tyson hit him, after Mike Tyson hit him, I was managed by Carl King, Don King's son. I was supposed to go to Arlington, Texas, and be under Terry Norris and Arlen Norris boxing banner during that period of time. I was being sponsored by Shabazz on 116th Street. That's a whole different chapter. I was 13-0 with 13 knockouts. I'm a supreme athlete at that period of time. I sparred with Shannon Briggs, a whole bunch of things. But that's like I said, so when I'm watching people fighting, when I'm doing Combat Talk with the King, and the only reason why I haven't done Combat Talk with the King right now is because I want the arenas to be full. I would have loved to do Combat Talk with the King with this Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight. And after watching that fight, I realized Deontay Wilder didn't do any road work. He didn't jog. I saw him jumping some light rope, but he has to do road work. I didn't see him hitting the heavy bag. You can't do mitts all day. I got to see how you hit the heavy bag. I got to see how you move. So he really needs, like one of his old trainers said, he's uncoachable. And I believe that to be a fact in that aspect, is because a lot of times what people say is what isn't broke, you don't have to worry about fixing it. And I saw a lot of holes in his game. And the only reason why Tyson Fury was able to beat him was because Tyson Fury is a better boxer.
He takes it more seriously.
I wouldn't say he takes it more seriously. Tyson Fury didn't have what Deontay Wilder has naturally. He has natural punching power. So when you have that punching power that you can change the fight on a dime like that, you're not going to work on the fundamentals. That's true. So I saw the same thing with Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins had a longer career because Roy Jones had natural gifted, God-given gifts that, certain things that he can cut corners on, where Bernard didn't have those gifts. Bernard had to stay in the gym. Bernard had to learn how to get a proper Philly defense. And, Bernard had to learn how to rough people up and how to do foot positioning and how to push people off and how to watch people win and how to turn people and how to do certain things, where Roy never had to worry about those things. Roy had raw, pure, unadulterated speed and power that God gave him. And when that speed, that fraction of a second that he had was gone, that's when he started to lose.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's a little bit like Mayweather. He has he's got the mentality. So he's like, I already know what I got to do. to keep myself from being knocked down, so
Yeah.
I can avoid doing certain things because I'm not gonna need to use it. All I gotta
Yeah.
do is watch the fight. Okay, he's gonna throw here. Let me just rest a little bit, and then around the end, I'll just start playing with him.
Yeah. He's he knew very early on he was God gifted, but he never rested on that, and he got the fundamentals.
Mhm.
That's the reason why he's undefeated. That's the only reason why he's absolutely undefeated. He saw, and he's a seer, not a feeler. He saw all the great heavyweights, all the great lightweights, Sugar Ray Robinsons, Sugar Ray Leonards, Mike Tyson's. He saw all of them. He saw all of their pitfalls, and he realized that fire is hot. I don't need to touch it. I can actually do this and respect this, and also end in this manner. How he's going to end, how he wants to end, and not how these other athletes, befell their record and stuff like that.
That's true. He was like, he already knew. Like, it's like a lot of people were like, oh, why is he pick this match with this guy and this other guy? He was a smart guy. It's like, something that a lot of boxers do not take into account is the reason why they always get hurt or they get knocked out. Is it they're always like, I want to go with that guy that's higher than me. I want to go with this guy. And Mayweather was like, he wants to fight. Oh, let me check what he's done.
Exactly. I'll fight him later.
Exactly. That's why he waited for people like our Miguel Cotto. He waited a while. He was like, let me wait for Cotto to start getting tired, older, and start losing in that conditioning, and then I'll take him on. Even though Miguel almost knocked him the heck down, but we already know.
The whole thing with the fight game, it's politics, it's business, and if your business isn't in order, you don't do it. You don't give anybody no favors because at the end of the day, every time you walk in that ring, it's your life on the line.
That is true.
So you got to make sure everything is in line for you, not in line for the next guy. It's a take business, and everybody is taking. You got to make sure that they don't take your life in the process. That's the whole thing.
That's true. That's unfortunate. This kid, he's Latino. He's still in the hospital bed. I was terrible.
Oh man, sucks so bad. But we know when we walk in that ring, it could be something very minor. You can go home. You can make it home, and you don't recover. So every time, that's why you pray. You pray going in, you pray going out. You pray, the gods of war look after you going in, and you pray the gods of war looked after you coming out. Because every time you leave a piece of yourself inside there. Every time you go through those ropes, you leave some of yourself there. And it's crazy. And a lot of times they're not compensated for it at all.
That is true. There's a lot of this is a business. If you do not know how to navigate the business, and only thing you have in your mind is, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go in there. But you're not thinking about, what am I getting from it? Because it's not like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm representing where I come from. Okay, you represent where you come from. But what happens when something happens to you? The people that you represent, are they going to be there for you? I don't think so.
No, not at all.
So why did you leave the boxing? Was it because you decided to have a family, or was it
a girl? I didn't even have any, and nothing came of it. I would be happy if we had a kid and we had a family. We didn't. I was going to leave. The contract was free room and board, and they was going to give me just for training, each training, free room and board, $50,000, and then whatever my purse was.
Whoa.
So when you first start, you can fight, and your purse would be $12,000. It's nothing, but you're going there. Like I was going to Arlington, Texas, so I was going to be away. And that stuff was going to happen. And she was like, oh, if you go, we won't be together. And shouldn't have did it. In hindsight, I shouldn't have did it. But, I can't say what's in hindsight. And now if I do certain things, then I don't be this person.
That is
so
true.
I got to take the good with the bad. I got to take the rich with the poor. I got to take everything how it is. I got to know that it's God's will for certain things to be. So I don't question it. It was experiences that I carry to this day that I can see certain things when I'm watching boxing. I can tell people, oh, this is it. I can tell people what the betting line is. Let me tell you something. I won that actual fight with Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury in a knockout because Deontay Wilder knocked out Tyson Fury in the third round. They gave Tyson Fury a 15-second count when he's supposed to have a 10-second count.
That is
And
true.
the fight is over.
That is true.
But at the same time, I don't bet on fights. I don't pay cash on fights because then I lose what I see. Because now I'm betting for the interest, right?
You're going with the mentality of this guy's got to win. I don't care about the rest of the show.
Exactly. So I don't do that. So I go in there with a clear vision of what the fight can be and what it is. And sometimes I got a little bit of intel because I can call up a couple of friends and find out, oh, was this guy training? Did he come in overweight? I know Tyson Fury came into camp 315 pounds, but he got down to 277. That's his lightest weight. I mean, his heaviest weight that he's been into a fight. But looking at it on the scale, I saw Deontay Wilder at 238. I know he started camp at 226. So he got up to 238. He should have jogged. And I think he won't. I think, honestly, that's probably his last fight unless he gets a chance to fight Anthony Joshua, both of them, two guys that got knocked out in their last two fights. But again, nobody really wants to see that unless they can build it in a manner. So,
yeah. No. It's like wrestling. They gotta make a good storyline. They gotta invent something to get the people invested in it. Because if not, they're gonna be like, I gave a este coge galleta, like they say here in Puerto Rico. It's a waste of time. And the other thing you were saying is that I was in halterophilia and alterophilia, which is weightlifting in that. And when we had to go to the competitions, if you were overweight, you would have to. They wouldn't let you drink water. They would have you throwing up, forcing yourself to throw up.
Did they put you in the steam room?
Yeah, they did all that shit.
They put me in the steam room on the bike with garbage bags on.
No. That's it. What they would do is they would force us to throw up and all
to
lower the weight. So my cousin, he was the champion of alterophilia here in Puerto Rico at 75 kilograms.
Yeah.
He had to do all that because he forgot that he had a competition, and the week before he went crazy and started eating lechon frito and all of this stuff. So then the day that we went to the competition, they were like, "Yo, you're 3 pounds over. You gotta do this and all that." So he did it all.
Yeah.
When he does the clean, which is you lift here, you go and you throw your foot forward. He did it, but as soon as as soon as they said you're good, he went. He fell, boom! He was so lucky the weight went over his head and landed like a feet or an inch forward for him. If not, it would have knocked him out. And it was because that day they told him you gotta lose because if not you can't compete. He quit eating. He started to do all that, and that's why when you say that this guy had to go down, that's a deterrent, man.
Yeah. That stuff there can kill a fighter. It can kill an athlete. That's why you have to respect your craft. You really do. You have to, if you're fighting, if you're weightlifting, whatever you're going to do, you have to respect your craft. You have to stay on weight. You have to eat clean. You don't do drugs. You don't do this. You don't do that. That's the only reason why I respect Mayweather, because he gave a lot. He gave his life to the sport.
That's true.
No drugs. People see him eating this fast food stuff. All that is for show for the camera, bro.
Yeah, behind stage. Yeah. And every athlete has a cheat day, so it's not like biggest thing.
And after that, he has his chef, make his smoothie in the back that he's having for the whole 18 weeks and looks like a god when he steps on the scale. So, you think he's eating McDonald's? No, he's not.
He's playing with y'all.
Mind games.
That's true.
Mind game.
He was always the king of the mind games.
Yes.
So King David, where did the name? Because everybody is in the Xbox community. We all love Mr. P3 on the Xbox Live, Xbox Network now. Where did the name that you gave Phil Spencer, which I'm gonna let you say it, because obviously I'm not gonna say it because then it wouldn't be be like getting a copyright and get sued. So where did the name come from? Because I love the name. Every time that somebody comes to the show and they say, you're like, no, you're saying it wrong. I'm laughing here like, don't these people watch the show before they come in? They should know better than that. So where did the name come from? And why does it remind me so much of Los Espartanos?
Exactly. All right. So his name is Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer. And all right. So when he first showed up there, I met him in person, and we had a conversation. And after the show, he asked me, because I got to give a shout out to my boy Tim Dog. So Tim was like, "Yo, yeah, this is King David." Yes, my dude, boy. He's like, "Yo, this is King David. Talk to Phil or whatever." So I said, "Yo, he asked me how did I like the show," and I was like, "Oh, the show was good." And he didn't let me get away with that. He was like, "Yo, no, I want to know, how did you really like the show? Tell me about it." I said, "You really want the truth?" And that's when they ended on Anthem. And I said, I only got one question. Why did you end the show on somebody else's IP?
And something that we found out that the game was nothing like that, which it was that did so much bad rep for Xbox. I remember that.
But he said business.
Man, makes sense.
And I looked at it and I respected it, because remember, they got EA access on their joint.
That's true.
They got EA access to side Game Pass. So a lot of times when you make these business moves, you're making business moves on some strategy stuff that nobody else can understand. You're laying groundwork. You're doing these deals in order to gain and grow in different spaces. So I understood that. So when he was hamstringed at the period in the beginning of his career. He had some dudes that was above him that weren't giving him the money. That's so the true. Stuff that he had to do, and I say it's akin to flying into you playing PUBG, flying into Pachinki with a butter knife, and actually getting a chicken dinner. So I said his first name is Phil Dominus. I said he's dominating. The next name that he got was Maximus. He's maximizing the fact that he's dominating you. Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius. And Aurelius means golden. If you guys don't know, that's the golden one. He's the golden child. That's when he did Game Pass and he launched this console. He got Aurelius, day and date stuff in Game Pass, like MLB The Show, games like
nobody expected that.
No, something. Let me tell you something. That guy is so sneaky, so smart, so intelligent. Lord Cognito talked to him, and he was like, "Yo, how come we don't have a baseball game?" Right? And he said, baseball licenses. This is what he said: baseball licenses, cost a lot, and to build a game from the ground up, takes a lot and stuff like that. But he said, "Don't worry, we're working on it." That's what he said. Don't worry, we're working on it. Lord Cognito, Lord Sovereign's best baseball game is MLB The Show. Mm-hmm. When it hit, I said, "Who did that for you?"
Yeah.
Who did that for you? Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer did that for you, because there's no way in hell anybody in that Sony camp can tell me that they would have expected that game to be in Game Pass.
Never.
That
was the most sneakiest thing. I got a friend that he's been playing MLB all the time. He's like, "Yo, why you ain't playing no MLB?" Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I had a PS1, and then I didn't have a PlayStation until the 5th. So I didn't have a PS2, I didn't have a PS3, I didn't have a PS4. Because when I started to grow up and I started to go to university in school, it was like, you only got this amount of money, so you got to decide where you're gonna spend it. So I was like, well, I've been with Nintendo since I'm young, so I'll get the Nintendo, which is always a little bit cheaper, and I'll get the Xbox. So now that I got a little bit more money, so I said, I'll get both of them. But before that came out, obviously was the MLB the show. He was like, yo, when you gonna play MLB the show? And I'm like, don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Yep.
Out of the blue, I'm like, he's like, yo, you got MLB the show? I'm like, yo, I don't just got it. I didn't pay nothing for it, bro. He's like, how's it? I'm like, did you not hear the news? What Phil did? And he's like, oh, man, este tipo, esto está. I'm like, you spent $70. I just paid. I already have my year subscription of Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, so I didn't have to pay nothing.
That's right. And I think I thought that was one of the crowning achievements in his quiver. You know, so that's how he got that name. And I just told people, a lot of people early on didn't believe in him. I believed in his vision and what he had to do. And once he got Satya Adala to co-sign and to go with him, then you actually see him ascend. Then he got Matt Booty in place, you know, brought his boy on board. He has a great Sarah Bond doing what she does, you know, for Game Pass. And I think that's very important because the level of a diversity that's at Microsoft with Sarah Bond in control and making the moves that she is making, a woman of color, you know, and in a prominent role out there, they actually make sure that she's visible and her accolades is being heard. I think that separates them from a lot of the companies that we are actually supporting at this point in time. You know, I think the level of transparency Microsoft does have, to the extent that they do give with their open personas at Major Nelson, Aaron Greenberg, you know, oh, what's this guy? I just saw him. He does the Fan Fest stuff. These guys, these people that they have in place, they allow them to have a conversation, you know, and I think that is important because the people can actually understand that these are human beings, that they're making games and that they're actually, you know, trying to do things for the public and for the people. So you can see yourself into each and every last one of them because they're actually humanizing themselves as a company. And I think that's a magnificent job to do.
I'm totally with you. I've interviewed a lot of people throughout my time doing these interviews. You know, I met Chayanne, I met Wisin Yandel. And you know, the thing that I take away from each time I interview somebody is their humanity. You know, who are they outside of the bright lights, outside of the microphone? Every time I interview them, I'm like, yo, I'm not here to ask the same questions you've been having for the 20, 30 years of, because why are you gonna repeat the same thing you've already repeated? I want the people to know who you are as a human being, because to me, what makes an artist special, it's not what they do in front, because, you know, I'm going to say a secret in the music business. I've been here for so long. What makes you famous is the money you invest or the money that somebody else invests in you. So I don't have to hear about that because I already know how it is. This guy's super famous. I'm not famous. He got somebody investing money. I'm investing my own money. So I know the difference. So I want to see what they are as a person. And exactly, who are they? The 95% of the people that I have met have been super humble. The other 5%, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you used to watch the Spanish TV, but it used to be an old show called Maria Chusema. I don't think you ever watched it.
My wife probably knows.
No, you tell her this, or you show her the interview when it's out.
Yeah, she's asking me. She's texting me right now. Where is it? Is it live? I gotta tell her no, it's recorded.
Yeah, I gotta edit and play around or something like that. Now I want to give it to the other people that I work to, because they put it on Reggaeton Directo and they put it on the other page, you know, just to brown in the scope. So Maria Chusema is a lady that had a show for kids. When I first made it to Puerto Rico, because I'm from Philadelphia. When I first made it to Puerto Rico, she's what I would watch, because she would like teach you the basic stuff, like what is this in Spanish, what is that in Spanish. I made it here, I didn't know nothing in Spanish. You know, I was like, they call the gringo. Right. Everybody was like, all right, gringo. I was pushed back a grade though. I made it here, and they're like, oh, you're good in English, you're good in math, but your Spanish is terrible, so you're gonna go backwards. So I graduated everything late. So I would use her show to help me learn, because she would be like, this is a gato, this is a perro, mi nombre es, and I was like, okay. So she helped me out.
Right.
Fast forward 20 years later, I was able to interview
Oh my God.
her. They always say, never meet your hero.
Never. Yes.
Never meet your hero. So I interviewed. Unfortunately, by that time I was starting off, so I didn't have nobody running the camera for me. So I had a Canon, which is actually a photographic camera, but it took video. So I put it on I put it on the tripod. I hit the record button. I went in front of the camera. The camera turned off. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. Give me one moment. Let me go. Record. And she turned around and said, para estas porquerías es que tú me buscas a mí. And I'm like,
oh.
And she's like, you are not professional. You made me waste my time to come over here for this. And then she was talking a lot of stuff that I don't remember because I blocked it all. And I'm here like, and then she told me, yeah, you know her. Yeah, I know her. Yeah, I remember her. So she comes and tells me, don't you worry. This is the way I treat my kids. And I was like, I don't want to be your kids, man. She put me to the ground. I felt terrible. Then the day before I interviewed her, I had interviewed Ismael Miranda, the salsero guy. So I'm like, I met a legend. I meet another legend. Yo, Ismael was sweet. I messed up in something that I asked him a question and I confused it, and he just laughed. He was like, keep going. It happens to anybody. I was kind of nervous because it was the first time I interviewed somebody so old. He's in the Fania All-Stars, and that's like legendary and all that. So he understood, but she didn't. So I was like, yo, yesterday this legend came to me and now I'm with her. So yeah, I learned don't meet all your legends, all your heroes. I met a couple of heroes that are sweet. I met Lacuna Coil, for those that like to listen to gothic rock. She's a sweetheart. Yeah. I told her up front, I said, yo, I'm nervous. And she comes and told me, don't worry, I only eat kids and you're an adult. And I'm like, all right, we're all good. There's no fear here at all. We're all good. So yeah, it's part of this business. I've seen Phil go through the ups and downs too. When he first came in and he was literally trying to rescue something that was literally dead. So everything that he's done, a lot of people be like, oh, but you got this record, but you got this crackdown. I'm like, yo, those are not first party games. You cannot. It's like I'll be like telling these people, yo, what about that Jet Far Shore game you guys got right now?
Exactly.
Oh, that's not first party. I'm like, it is the same thing with record. First party did not have enough people working, so you did third party deal. Same thing what happened with Jet the Far Shore, which is supposed to be the star field for these other guys.
These dudes don't understand a lot of times what business is, and what I like what he did, and he's super humble. Every time I've met him, I would have met him this year. Last year and this year, we've done a lot of different things in meeting Microsoft execs, and I'm gonna tell you, man, Jason Ronald, super humbled, beautiful person. But when I meet these people, like you said, I don't talk business. I don't care.
Yep.
I talk. We talk life and stuff like that. We talk different things, and that's what they're humans. Do you, when I go home, I really don't want to talk work at all. I really want to talk what's going on in the day, or what's going on with my kids, or what's going on here, what's going on with this, or what's going on with that. But I really honestly do not feel like talking about work. So when I talk to these individuals, they honestly just have good conversation, and we go out to different venues when I'm in California, and we break bread, we eat, we talk. That's so nice. It is a great thing, because they know, like that statue that I got right back there, that Superman statue, a developer sent it to me, texting, and he goes, I have this statue, and my wife has me, smalling up his space or whatever, and he didn't want anything to happen to it.
Yeah,
right. And he knows if it came to me, it would be great. So I didn't know. I gave him my address, and he sent it to me. He did not know that I love Alex Ross art. He didn't know. Like I think Alex Ross is probably one of the greatest artists who's ever lived, because he draws in such a human fashion. They look so lifelike.
Yeah,
And that statue is from Kingdom Come, and that's the Superman from that storyline. Amazing. That's why I haven't taken it down from there. Like I told him, I said I was gonna do a whole thing about it, but he was like, I don't really want too much praise. I don't want no praise at all, to be honest with you. And then he had a handwritten note that made me cry. Like, I'm like, yo, this is a person that I met on a developer conference thing that we sat there, and we ate and we partied, we drank and we chilled and we bonded. So it's a genuine a friendship or a kinship that I feel is there. So and he trusted me with one of his prized possessions that won't go anywhere, that's always on display. So if you see King of the Statues, when I do King of the Statues, that statue will be there, unless the statue is too big
and you need the space or something.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I just like the bonds and stuff that I build going forward, opposed to I need a business contact or I need a favor. I don't ever ask anybody for no video games. I don't ever ask anybody for no codes, none of that stuff. Or let me get this exclusive interview. Let me do this stuff. I don't do none of that stuff. To be honest with you, just hey, what's up? What's going on? How you doing? How's the family? How's this? How's that? And if you do happen to come on the show, I'd rather build bonds with that. Honestly, Cog and Addict is the ones that book the show. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I'm just a social guy. Like I do all of our media stuff. So if you see our logo that's in the back, I did that along with a couple other guys with some help. And all the t-shirts, all the marketing, things of that nature. I'm in charge of that. I'm head of marketing. Because I have the vision for certain things, so if you saw the intro in the beginning of the show, I was the engineer for that. Yes.
Yeah.
I got something I'm working on right now, so really good stuff.
Coming soon. Exclusive. Something's coming soon. That's
yeah. It's going to be really good. Really good.
Looking forward to it. What you were saying a little while ago. There's this dev. He's an indie dev. He's from Japan. I started following him. I'm not gonna mention his name obviously because I don't speak about people unless they like say, yo, you got permission. But I do follow him on Twitter, and I see that lately his tweets are depressing. They're depressive. Last time he wrote something, he was like, I've been doing this for so many months. Every time I feel like I'm a loser, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like what I do does not matter, and that hit me because I'm like, yo, I've passed depression. I've been through depression. When I was young, I was overweight. That's why I'm like this now. But this used to be fat, so I know what it is. This comes from a reason. I didn't inject myself or nothing like that. Everything was body fat. I was way overweight. That I had a stroke at the age of 14, so I was big. So I know. God. Yeah, I know what it is. So I wrote him. I'm like, yo, you okay? What's the matter? And he's like, no, I'm okay. It's and that. And like, yo, I don't know you. You don't know me. But if you even need to talk, I ain't gonna ask you for nothing. You hit me a message. And he's like, yo, thank you. What you just told me helped me. Because in this precise moments, I was gonna jump off a chair. And I was like, damn, a dude that's making a game by himself, going through all the adversity of investing his own money, he's going through this kind of problem. Yeah, he's going through this kind of problem. And I was like, yo, why didn't somebody else see this tweet? And
well, a lot of people see what I do is, if you ever follow my timeline, I joke around a lot of stuff, but every once in a while, I put up some inspirational something. Put something out there, just, keep your head up. Father's Day, I actually made sure that I put out a video. I sat down and did the video for fathers, because I noticed that what society is trying to do towards fathers, they're trying to minimalize us, marginalize us, and devalue us. And I just wanted to let every father know that they do have value. That they aren't marginalized and they aren't minimalized, and they do have a place in the family structure. and they are needed. So I just wanted to, tell them don't give up, because a lot of times, especially during this holiday, and I honestly, right about now, during this whole COVID, this pandemic stuff, right about now, depression is at its all times high. If you look at what fields are actually growing, the mental health areas is growing exponentially, because individuals are coping with things that they didn't have to cope with at any point in times in their life. Uncertainty is it's a biggest factor, because you have, once uncertainty reaches the financial part, then everything else, emotional, mental, physical, everything else starts to be affected from that unstable aspect of your life. So I try to make sure that I put at least something out, or try to put my ear to the street to understand what's going on and how people feel, that we all in the same boat together. So, I try to do that as well.
Yeah, that's important. I read it every once in a while. The people that follow me on Twitter, my Twitter's old is as a viento, like they say. It's old. So a lot of people that follow me, they would follow me for the music and all that. So a lot of them don't even use Twitter anymore. So the 500, 600 people that I got, well, they're probably dead, or they're probably under a tree, or they're probably in a cave. So whoever reads it, of the people that are following me now, it's like you say, we live in trying times that we don't know what people are going through. It's like
Right.
people, cats, dogs, everybody in this world, we all come from Gaia. We all need the respect that we should be given. And unfortunately, like you were saying about the fathers, okay, let's be honest, of 100%, you can say that there is a percentage of fathers that do not take care of their kids, that abandon their family,
But you got to ask yourself, what is the circumstances?
Exactly.
Sometimes a lot of a lot of men aren't taught how to be men, because a lot of men don't have a father there, right?
That is a problem.
So we're learning on the fly, and a lot of women aren't taught how to be women. So with what's going on in social media, what's going on in television and movies, they're breaking the family structure. So we aren't in a tolerable state. Before, it was, you get married, there was no divorce. Remember that?
That was back, way back in the day.
That was it. That was your buddy for life, and that was it. And it was your whole family structure stood behind that part. You come home and your wife is at your mother, your aunt's house, talking about what's going on, and everybody will come over if there's an issue. Your uncles and your pops will talk to you. Well, they broke the family structure. The family structure has been broken once they made sure that they removed daddy from the household. So now, whatever kid is growing up, the children are growing up missing a large key to the puzzle. That key to the puzzle actually helps form them and turns them into well-rounded individuals, because you can't tell me, if you remove a leg from a chair, that chair can stand. Yeah, it might be able to, but it's
going to got good balance.
Right. It's going to fall. It's going to be something off with that chair. So the family structure needs to be fixed. There's an imbalance there, and a lot of kids and a lot of men and a lot of women aren't seeing that fundamentally these things are broken at its core. And if two people aren't diligent enough to fight through certain things, because through these circumstances, that can actually destroy a household. So financially, if you're not making enough and you're going through these burdens, you're going through these trials and tribulations, you're going to falter. How bad do you falter? Where do you falter at? How well do you regain yourself? So, in these circumstances, I don't think there's a lot of measures put out there for men to understand how to be men, and how to be good fathers, and how to be good husbands, and good brothers, and good cousins, and stuff like that. And I also don't believe that there's a lot of schools that are teaching women how to be good housewives, how good working women, good mothers, good sisters, good cousins, how to be good people. We don't have enough of how to be good people and how to be good to each other, because at this point in time, they're telling us to stay 6 feet away from each other and to cover our mouths. So when you cover your mouth and you no longer see the face, it dehumanizes you, right? So I think we're separating as a society, and I think that's a big problem, and we need to be a little bit more with each other. So us reaching out to people on Twitter, us reaching out to people in general, a kind word goes a long way. You know, I try to enter with a smile and leave with a smile. Good morning. How are you doing? How's your day? You know, those type of things go a long way, because a lot of people sometimes don't receive those things.
That's true. That's true. We love and peace to everybody except Optimus Code. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Don't you think I forget about all the stuff you're doing after they give you an opportunity? But yeah, what you were saying is true, and it's another thing. You know, we're already adults already, but
yeah,
the people that are having kids now in this time of days,
oh my
the
God.
way that they're showing their kids to grow up is, toma, tomate celular y vete. Take the phone, go to YouTube, watch whatever you want. Oh, your son's listening to a song, and in the song he's saying that this woman is a and he's saying that he wants to and she's like, I don't care, because he ain't bothering me. And if we're going through that kind of stuff now, I don't want to imagine what stuff is going to be happening from here to 50 years, because the family has diverted to technology will resolve everything. And technology is just there to liberate the mind. It's not there to teach.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, because me growing up, I would play with my GI Joes. I would play in my toys and read my comic books. My son, I brought him any toy he wants. Does not play with toys. I have a backyard. He would I would have killed for a backyard as a kid. I would sit out there with my GI Joes until the sun went away. And I would just sit there and play in the backyard all day. How technology has changed the family structure, like you're saying, it has separated the individuals, because you can be stuck in your phone, away, detached, not hearing, and you're just using your eyes, not hearing what's going on, because you're so enveloped into that whole screen. That's why I can't wait to see The Matrix 4. Because they're going to be delving deep into that aspect, you know, of how society is droned into the Matrix, and the Matrix is on our hips. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up, you know.
The first Matrix, people didn't understand it because we weren't living in the society that we are now. Technology is so rampant. You know, when the Matrix 1 came out, we were still like growing up. The internet was what we call dial-up. There was no such thing as high speed. So technology was not so this. So a lot of people did not understand it. But I like the way that the Wachowski do things. They incorporate, you know, stuff that are really happening to our reality. And I'm looking forward to the fourth movie of The Matrix. When I was a kid, you know, I was so in tune of playing with things that even if I would have to go to Burger King and buy a kids meal just to get that toy, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I went to Burger King for when the Pocahontas movie was there. I got a Pocahontas, and I said, she's a female. I don't care. I'll play with her anyway. I'm like, I got Pocahontas. I got Captain America. I got Batman. I'm going to say that she's the Indian Wonder Woman. I will just make up this crazy stories. And you know, the other thing of when you play with toys and all that, you open your imagination.
Yes.
So your imagination grows. That's why when I was a little kid, I used to doodle comic books. I had a comic book. It was like I had Mario, Yoshi, Luigi, Star Fox, and I would entwine them with Batman. I used to draw good. Now I don't draw nothing. I lost the time. So I would draw like these stories, and then Mario went down a plumbing. He came to the toilet, and he was in the Wayne Manor, and all this crazy stuff. And all things to that of opening my mind and all that, it helped me when I had to start making music.
Yes.
It made the moment that they told me, yo, you got to write this song. I was like, I already got it. You know, somebody tells me, yo, we got a song. We need you to record it right now. I'm like, give me 3 minutes. I already got everything written. No, record it. The next day, here you go. I'm like, how? I'm like, when I was a kid, I always used this, my imagination. I would read comic books and I would like go into the universe. I would play with my toys and all that. And, you know, kids nowadays, when they start growing, and it's not just kids nowadays, because I know kids that when they do their homework, they don't do it.
Right.
The parents do it because they're too entwined to being on their phone, and they're too entwined into not reading. And reading is a dying breed that when people quit reading completely, human history is gone.
Well, it's when humans stop writing, we no longer write. So I don't know about you, but my spelling has definitely took a jump off a cliff.
Yeah, sometimes I forget certain. I try to write, like I'm in a group with Clipper fans, and I've tried to write. I always do this mistake, but it's not my fault. I'm kind of writing R. I write R's. I write.
Right.
It's OUR. Well, I forget, and I write ARE, and they're like, "Yo, it's written like this," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm sorry." It's the need of practicing. I live in Puerto Rico, and even if you guys don't believe it, in Puerto Rico, 90% of the people do not speak English. So I'm not practicing. I'm not writing like you say. And every time I write in social media, I try to write things completely. I'm not like you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be a point when you have to really write, when you have to really speak, you ain't gonna remember.
Yeah. Well, I'm always a businessman, so I always gotta make sure.
You always gotta be writing. Yo, you always gotta be writing. The same thing with me when I want to interview somebody from Korea or something like that. Their English is not perfect. A lot of Koreans do not speak English, but they will read what you say, and if they see that what you reading, if they see that what you wrote is written badly, they'll be like, I ain't working with him. He doesn't know what he's saying.
Exactly.
And that's the society we live in. But just hope that things get better. Well, King, I took in a lot of your time already. So Facebook, I think you don't got Facebook. So Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, I got Facebook.
Oh, well, look here. I thought so. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The URL of you guys, the Facebook, the YouTube channel of you guys, so that way everybody can participate. Before you give all your information, I want to tell you that I first saw you on the show Mr. Boom.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, yo, King David reminds me of me. He's my other brother from another mother from another part. And the crazy thing is that your grandma's Figueroa, my grandma's Carmen Figueroa. So who knows if we're in time? You never know.
Mine is Marjorie Figueroa.
I will ask her. That name sounds familiar. I will ask her. Yeah. So I then followed you to IronLords Podcast, and I watched the first one. I was like, yo, every Sunday, I always pray at 11. So what I do is I pray at 10:30 on Sunday. So that way at 11, I can just sit down. I lay down my bed and just sit down and watch the crazy stuff and all that, because you guys are very entertaining.
Thank you.
The work you do is I like to watch stuff, and I personally myself as an artist and as this person that does interviews, I like to infuse comedy and entertainment, because whoever's watching this could probably be going through a hard time. And what we talk about the fathers and all that, they're probably going through the same situation, that they're like, yo, where's daddy? Does daddy care about me? Does daddy mean something to me? And probably listening to what we've been talking about, they can take it into mind and be like, yo, if these two men that are right here in front of my cell screen or my television or whatever you got, if they could go through life without that piece of the chair, and they're doing what they're doing, then I can do it too. So that's why I thank you guys for what you do. I thank you for your entertainment. I thank you for calling out those frauds. You frauds know when we call you out quickly, we don't let this stuff go bad. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got, let the people know.
We even on TikTok. It's IronLords Podcast on all social media, and lordsofgaming.net is the website. You can also catch me at DCX on Fridays at 9 p.m. And that's Legion of Doom, where you can catch the Punisher, Vader, and Spidey. That's Chris, Thor, Rodney, and the Hulk, myself, on the show. We have a great time. Sundays at 11 a.m. during football season, IronLords Podcast. 1 p.m. Soon as football season is over, come on and hurry up and end, so I can get my rest in the morning, because I'll be working all night.
When you guys switches the hour, I was like, yo, man.
Yeah.
Complicated. Then NBA starts soon. And I'm like, yo, this is even more complicated.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to be juggling. Like, let me see what my Clippers are doing. Let me see what King is saying. Let me see what my Clippers are doing. Let me see. It's gonna be complicated, but crazy. It's crazy.
I try to keep it as entertaining as possible, though, brother.
That's all that matters. So, personal Twitter for all those that want to follow you.
Oh, go to King David OTW on Twitter. I think you will laugh all day long. Like, I put up a meme the other day about, because William Shatner, I love William Shatner, is going up to space, and Captain Kirk, and I was like, yo, how about we all dress up as the Planet of the Apes?
I read that and I was like, yo, that is so hilarious. He landed and he'll be like,
what the hell? I should have never left. Get your hands off me, you filthy apes.
What am I? Did I land in the wrong time and place?
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
That would be hilarious. But we probably end up killing the man because he has pretty much, he's got a couple of years on him. So that'll probably give him a heart attack and you'll be like, yo, like in the movie of Zombieland, the Bill Murray's like, I'm a zombie. He almost got killed for it.
Yeah.
We'll probably kill him. So people think about it, but think about his health. Keep it in mind. So the Nothing King David, once again, thank you very much for being a part of the Real Nonstop Talent. It's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. I'm more than honored to be able to start off this community of video games. Hopefully everything could keep going and I can have some more people so that way they can hear more about what makes the video gaming community more than just, playing around and all this stuff. Because, one thing that I like about what you do, the same thing I do. I don't believe in console wars. You don't believe in either because you got all the consoles. But obviously, if you give out an information, if you get out a news and some other zealot of another console wants to say something, you got to defend yourself because you're telling the truth. So, there's no such thing as console wars. It's like I read somebody was like saying, yo, IronLords Podcast is an Xbox podcast. I'm like, no, you're wrong. It is a gamers podcast because you guys talk about everything. And if Xbox does something you don't like, you tell them.
Oh, yeah. I call them out automatically.
This is the way it's supposed to be done, because you can love something, but if you truly love something or if you truly love somebody, you will tell them they're false.
Exactly.
That helps them to get better.
Yes.
That's how it is. So, and nothing, mi gente, this is Real Nonstop Talent, Reggaeton Directo, lavasesecreta.com. This was King David, Lord King David of the IronLords Podcast. Ya saben, mi gente, every Sunday, 11 a.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. Just in case, don't come out. They live in PST and they're going at 11 o'clock and they're like, whoa, what happened here?
You see you at night, right? We like King David.
They'll be like John Travolta.
Yeah, right. Sticking out the wallet.
What's the show? So 11 Eastern Standing Time. We're so used to it because Puerto Rico and New York, we're on the East Coast, so we're like forget about it. But 11 EST time. Así que, a mi gente, espero que se hayan disfrutado esto. Ya sabe, more interviews coming soon if everything goes well. In God's name, we will keep going on doing this kind of stuff, and I hope that you all enjoy it. So nothing. Peace.
Peace.